Greetings and salutations, gang. It's good to have you back again. Of course, for those of you tuning in for the first time, I am the Articulate Grunt. Welcome to my channel. And yes, reading the title correctly, this is finally my follow-up vid to my original piece on the Golden Dawn. Now, it went a different direction than I was originally intending, and I'm going to have to ask you to please stick with me. Because what I'm going to do is here at the beginning, I'm going to hit you with several developments and things that have evolved since my last vid, and then I'm going to get into some hardcore history on the man behind the movement, the founder of the Golden Dawn himself. Additionally though, as I'm going through the historical piece, I'm going to have to ask a little bit of patience from you, because I'm going to have to pause to check facts, so there's going to be more editing in this than there normally is in my regular videos. And I'm just not that good at it yet. I'm still learning, I'm still working on it. So, let's get down to business. Now, the first update I want to hit on is a dramatic upswing, an increase in Golden Dawn popularity across Greece. Now, in the last elections, when they won their parliamentary seats, they were estimated between 6 and 7% public approval and public vote in their favor, granting them their first parliamentary seats, rather than just the seats they've been holding in some local governments. Since that time, their popularity has increased to the point where they are now at 22%, and have become the third largest political party in Greece. They have actually surpassed several other parties, rising in prominence. Were the elections to be held now, you figure Greece has a parliament of 300 seats, give them 66 seats in the parliament, and a significant voting bloc. And they look to be climbing, not slowing down. Now, in addition to that, in my previous vid, I noted how they were doing for Greeks only food and clothing assistance, especially with winter starting to come on and with the massive recession problems Greece is having. Well, now in the city of Corinth, the local parliamentary deputy, Stathis Boucharis, I probably butchered his name, sorry, my tummy's not meant for speaking Greek, is also a member of the Golden Dawn and has organized, I'm not sure how it works, but has organized a Greeks for Greeks blood bank system where Greeks can go in, donate blood, and it is only available to fellow Greeks. Not Greek citizens, not an immigrant with citizenship papers, Greeks, hereditary Greeks, which has apparently gone over very well in that city. I'm not sure how it works, I'm not sure the regulations and checks on that, but he's made it work. So they've taken yet a further step, which may very well may have already, my information may be old, may have already spread to other Greek cities. And if you've been doing any studying on the Golden Dawn and what's going on in Greece, the name Ilias Kassidarius may already be familiar to you. Who he is, he's a member of the parliament, one of those that was elected in the last election, who's a member of the Golden Dawn. Except that last July, on live TV, he was debating with a female liberal opponent of his, and I can't understand what was said. It's in Greek. I've watched the video a couple times. He turns to her and slaps her across the face. Good and hard, too. And he was actually wanted by the police for several days in accordance with that assault. Well, while addressing the Greek Parliament on October 23rd, he opted to read aloud passages from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which was a piece of propaganda circulated in the 1930s that actually became a mandatory classroom reading in German schools with the coming rise of the Nazi Party, and was actually one of Hitler's justifications for the Holocaust. The members of Parliament listened, some objected, but there was no outcry, no his being banished from Parliament or anything. But this has raised another round of cries that the Golden Dawn are, Nazi fascists. And that's the end of my updates for now. So, let's move on to the historical piece. Some of you are going to hate me for this, some of you are going to love me for it, but it's just the facts as I found them being presented to you. Let's go for the ride. In December of 1957, Nicholas Makaloliakos, and I'll probably butcher that all to hell, was born in Athens, where he grew up, went to school, and finished his studies at the Faculty of Mathematics of the National and Cappadocian University in Athens. I hope I pronounced that right. Now, at the age of 16, he joined the Nationalist 4th of August Party. Now, the 4th of August Party was a political action group that opposed major players in the Cold War. It was founded in 1965, and its main objective was to bring about a third path of government away from both communism and capitalism. He also participated in the local Athens organizational branch of the EOKA, which, if you don't know, was an organization that opposed the British organized and approved segregation and political alignment of the island of Cyprus, and sought the reunification of Cyprus back with the rest of Greece. It was actually at a protest with that group outside the British embassy in Athens that Mr. Leokos, I hope nobody gets offended by shortening so I don't have to butcher it through the entire vid, that Mr. Leokos was first arrested in 1974, once again at the age of 16, protesting the British stance towards the Turkish invasion of Cyprus, which led to the armed split and segregation of the island, which still holds true today. He did a short stint for that, was released, but in 1976 was again arrested, this time for assaulting journalists at the funeral of Evangelos Marios, who was a police officer during the regime of colonels who supposedly tortured prisoners while they were under incarceration. However, there were some technical issues in accordance with this arrest, and he was basically released immediately afterwards. However, this may have been a fortuitous turn in events and in the evolution of the young man that would become the founder of the Golden Dawn. You see, while he was in jail under his brief custodial visit to the penal system, on that occasion, he actually met the leaders of the Greek military junta, which lasted from 1967 to 1974. Now, for those of you that don't know, these gentlemen were military officers that, seeing in the election pending in 1967 that it was most likely that socialist communist groups were going to get a significant hold on the Greek government, which they were trying to avoid, decided that instead of risk that kind of problem for their country, they would just rise up using key military assets and take control of the country. And it's what they did, and came to be known as the regime of the colonels, because at the beginning of it, it was predominantly a group of colonels who got together, started out and convinced several generals to also join them, and led to the overthrow of the Greek government, and was in fact a very quick and tactical maneuver on their part. For instance, one of the colonels was the commander of the Armors Training School there in Greece. Middle of the night, moved out with troops and officers loyal to the ideology, and just placed singular tanks at key intersections throughout the capital, so as people woke up in the morning, he was in control. Literally, in less than a 24-hour period, they turned around, circumvented the government, basically declared martial law, threw out the code of conduct, the constitution at the time, if you will, that was leading to the elections, and put themselves into power, to the extent that actually any individual on a list as either a communist or communist sympathizer or as a radical opposing the government could be picked up in the middle of the night, or any other time, day or night, and brought before a military court for courts-martial, for trial and determination of their punishment, whether they were guilty or innocent, and what their punishment would be, and literally up to the death penalty. Now, I say that may have been a pinnacle moment because he got out of jail and straightened his life out, or at least seemed to. He actually got his stuff straight, got himself straight, and joined the Greek army. Matter of fact, he joined it, excelled in the armed forces, passing the entry for special forces, and actually became a special forces commando. Now, unfortunately, this only lasted until 1978, when, having become a member of another right-wing extremist organization, he was arrested, found guilty of illegally carrying guns and explosives, was convicted in January of 1979, and sentenced to 1 year in prison. This also, obviously, led to his dismissal from his position in the army. After his release, he launched the Krisi Avci magazine, basically the Golden Dawn magazine. Ran for about 3 years before shutting down, when he joined the National Political Union and took over the leadership of its youth section. Now, he stayed with them for a little less than a year, as in January of 1985, he broke out on his own again and began the popular national movement, the Golden Dawn, which brings us up to date with my last video, which if you haven't seen, you can click over to and pick it up from there. As one interesting side note, though, the lady you see here is Eleni Zaroulia. I probably messed that up too. I'm sorry, ma'am. She is Mr. Liakos' wife. They have 2 children, which I did not research into, but she is also one of the Golden Dawn's elected members of Parliament who got elected this last spring. She is a member of the Council of Europe Anti-Discrimination Committee. She is also a member of the Subcommittee on Gender Equality and has demanded special treatment for people of Greek descent returning to Greece from other regions, such as Russia and Albania. Well, that's where I'll leave you this time, gang. I'm still doing research. I may come out with yet another, but we'll see where it takes us. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Hit the like or dislikes. Let me know what you thought of the video. And, as always, take care of yourselves. Keep your heads down. I am the Articulate Grunt, and I will catch you next time. Bye.